Hey everybody, Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com. So here's your 2024 guide for how to get your smartphone onto the handlebars. Do I think it's a great idea? Probably not if you're going to be surfing the net or looking at Facebook, but some ideal situations where you want to have your smartphone on your handlebars is navigation. Well, nowadays everybody relies on navigation. If you're on a small displacement scooter, it doesn't go fast, you can navigate by avoiding highways. It's going to get you around either your own town or maybe you're in some other town. There's so many reasons that you may want to have your phone on your handlebars. They're all easy to install. They're also very easy to remove when you don't want to use them, so you don't have that unsightly mount on your handlebars. And we've essentially carried two different brands over the last several years. For well over 10 years, we've carried the Ram products. The X-Grip has been a very popular mount. They're not necessarily the best solution for the modern day extra large size smartphone or modern day smartphone cases where you have a wallet or a pop socket on the back, but they do have some other mounts that work much better than the X-Grip, and I'm going to share those with you. And then the very popular SP Connect system. Pretty cost effective, very high quality, very simple and elegant. This has been our most popular mount. It's called the Moto Scooter Bundle. It's just one SKU you order on our website, and nice and easy to install. It leaves very little behind on your mirror, and it's very universal. One other option I'm not going to really talk about is something like what I have on my own phone, the SP Connect case that's specific to your phone. Well, if you know anything about smartphones, they like change every year. So it's really hard to keep up with the cases, you know. It is possible we can order you a case specific for your phone, but you got to definitely want to like, you know, having just their simple basic case. They're great. They work with magnetic charging and all that. So certainly I have good things to say about them, but for the majority of our scooter customers, this is probably not the solution to have a specialized case. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you all the different mounts, starting with the Ram mounts and how they're installed on the scooter. All right, so I'm going to start with the Ram system. We've had this system for quite a long time. We have some of our own specific SKUs that work very good with the scooters. So with the Ram system, you order the mount separately, and then you're going to want to order the actual mount that goes onto the scooter. That includes a link, and it also includes a diamond base that's included. So the most popular SKU is going to be the Ram XXO, so Ram XXO, you can find it on the Scooter West web store, and it includes this link. You have two rubber balls, and that isolates some of the vibration from your phone, but the best part of it, it may be a larger and in some ways clunkier mount. You have the ultimate in adjustability by having two ball joints. So you essentially, you have one that's going to be on your mirror stem, which is this side, and that's specifically engineered for the scooters. There's lots of different various adapters that clamp down on the mirror stem, and you have the ultimate amount of adjustability. And one other item I'm not going to show is a Ram lock. You can search the Scooter West web store for Ram lock, and it replaces this knob so you can lock the whole mount down so no one takes off with your mount. So this is the most popular SKU. It mounts around the mirror stem. Some other popular options are the Ram O2, which has a flat bracket. This works really good on something like a GTV or a motorcycle. There's the Ram XXO3, has an angled bracket, so you could put either a bolt through that, or if you have a exposed mirror such as on the Vespa GTV, you can thread the mirror right through that 9mm hole. This is a 10mm hole on the XXO2, which would be ideal for a 2024 GTV. If you have the older GTV, the Ram-XXO3 is probably your best solution. These were specifically engineered for motorcycles mostly, or if you just have some other bolt on the scooter to mount to, these work equally as well. This one's a little more specific, the Ram XXO4. You can see there's an angled little bracket. There's all sorts of various bolts. is what it does is it bolts in place of your mirror, and it will work with the GTS, any of the models that have a bodywork that's more receded. Maybe you have bar end mirrors, this would be pretty much your ultimate mount for something like if you have bar end mirrors. This will bolt in place of where your mirror is, and you have all the adjustability of both this little mount and the two balls, and it's a pretty nice setup. Not a very popular setup, but if you're running bar end mirrors, this would be your ultimate setup on a Vespa scooter or many of the other models. Other thing is a lot of these will work with like things like a BB400, BB350 that have exposed mirrors as well. And then the XXO, which is our most popular option. It goes around the mirror stem. Nice and easy to install, includes all the tools like the little Allen key. So I'm going to specifically concentrate on installing this one. And then next you're going to need the phone holster. Of course there's the X grip. I've covered that in several videos in the past. A lot of people still like that. We still sell the X grip. This is the quick grip. They've sold this for quite a long time. The original size quick grip is this small one right here. Yeah, it's a little bit large, but I find this is by far the most secure mount you're going to find for your phone. Even the SP Connect, if you have a thicker case, it's not going to work. You can see these claws are pretty deep, so if you have a case that's pretty thick, it will work. The best part about all these little arms that keep it aligned horizontally, they're completely adjustable, and the way you drop a phone in, I have this old phone right here, you just kind of drop it in and you lift it and it's in there, and it's not going to come out unless you really, really whack it, maybe in a crash or something. You can cause that to come loose, but it holds the phone very tight. You can see there's no case. There's a lot more space for a much thicker device or phone with a case. So you pretty much have about that much adjustability for the phone. If you have just a regular size modern iPhone, such as something like I have, it will work just as well with this mount. We'll adjust the width and it will go all the way up. Anything larger than the regular old iPhone or the regular Samsung Galaxy, you definitely want to go to the larger mount. The regular mount's a RAM 01U. If you want the extra large mount that works with any of the larger Max size iPhones or Galaxy Note size phones, you'd be looking for a RAM-01 UXL. And the cool thing about the UXL is even though it's larger, it will work fine for the smaller phones too, not the really small phones. So if you have something like an iPhone mini or something a little smaller than this, it may be a little dwarfed by the mount, but this does have enough adjustability for pretty much any of the modern phones on the market. So for most people looking for the ultimate mount, you're probably looking for the large RAM universal quick grip and the RAM XX0 for going around the mirror with this torque mount, as they call it. So here's the standard size quick grip, RAM quick grip, and you can see it grabs the phone nice and easy, drops right in there, and it's in there nice and secure. You got the link and goes right on the scooter, tons of adjustability, and we got the phone just like that. So maybe you have an extra large phone, or you have a phone case with something like one of these mag wallets. Well, in that case, I would get the extra large quick grip, which is probably our most popular RAM SKU, and this one will work with the much thicker phone case. You can see it has little jaws that will grip the phone. The little wallet stays in place. It's in there, it's nice and secure, and pretty much works the same as the standard one. And if you have something nice and thick like this, the SP Connect's pretty much out of the question, but the RAM quick grip definitely is the best solution for this. So there you go. Got your nice large phone in there, or phone with a kind of built-in wallet case. If you have like a little lanyard, something like this, it's not a bad idea to throw it over the mount, you know, just in case. Or so there's a good setup for you, and you can successfully use your phone to navigate or whatever you need to look at. So let me show you all the various options, and then we'll get to installing this. All right, so I have a beautiful 23 Vespa GTS 300. We're gonna start with the Ram torque mount, the Ram-XX0. So you start with this mount kit. Comes with everything you need pretty much to mount it on the scooter. I already have one opened up. So we're gonna go ahead and separate the link and the diamond base that we'll use a little bit later. So what I need specifically is this torque mount. And I've already separated all the little spacers. This one's partly assembled, but there's gonna be a pair of Allen screws in there. They have captive nuts in the bottom of this little horseshoe clamp here. So go ahead and we'll get it all apart. Kind of doing this, using my t-shirt as a tool tray here. I guess robot t-shirts come in handy sometimes. So you see the clamp right there? It's kind of like a half shell or like a bearing half cap. It's obviously too loose on there. And they include 4 different types of spacers. So the way you size the spacer, you just kind of straddle this on the on your mirror stem. We're gonna try 40. I think 40 might be a little bit too small for these newer style stems. But pretty much every mirror has like a different setup. And you know, these do, you could pretty much, you can go 32, 40, or I think the next one's 55. 40 is a little bit too much. You see the gap's just a little too large for these new GTS mirrors. Let's try the 47. I think that's gonna be the ideal size. There's also a 50, I think a 55 or 52, but we'll go ahead and snap the 47. Sometimes these come as like the little model set where you gotta, you know, break them out of the little tree right there. So that's perfect. There's just a little bit of rocking, and the way you do this one-handed is you get the captive nut, you kind of use your finger, I'm kind of holding it, hold that in place. The reason I know how to do it one-handed all by myself, I had a customer come back and they bought the kit and they said, oh, I can't do this. You know, it's too hard to hold all this. So drop the little Allen screw in there and just go ahead and start tightening it. Don't worry about the position. There's a lot of adjustability later. So there you go. So I got that in place and pretty much repeat with the bottom fastener. Make sure you don't lose a captive nut. Just put that right into the bearing half shell, or it's not even a bearing, but I like to call it that, I guess. And go ahead and tighten the second Allen screw with the included key. One thing to keep in mind, those are standard threads. This is like an American company. The parts are all made in the United States. So ideally, you kind of want to figure out your position. So I kind of have one already mocked up. There's my little torque mount. They have a spring on one side of the link, and the idea behind the spring is it kind of can just stay with this and not fall off. So that's what the spring is for. And it just depends on how you want to have it set up. So you may want to turn it a little bit more towards me. I'm kind of setting up like it's a little instrument cluster right here. I see some people, they'll set them up in different spots, but that looks pretty good right there. So you can see there's a little bit of rotation right there. And once I know that's approximately where I want it, then we'll go ahead and you can remove this, get back in here. And usually you want to have this key with you on the scooter. They may need a couple tightenings, you know, over the first week because everything kind of compresses a little bit. Another option, they do include a little rubber strip that you can put a little piece of rubber on the mirror, and that will make it grip even tighter, especially on something like this polished chrome. On a black mirror stem, you never really have problems, but sometimes the polished ones, you may hit bumps and the mount will just continue to want to move, even if you tighten these as tight as they can go. So pretty much those are pretty tight. It's not going anywhere right now. So got the ball mount installed. The next part is we need to install the X on the back of your mount. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to build this large mount here. So the Ram-XX0 01 UXL. That's the extra large one. That's probably the recommended mount for most modern phones as of 2024. They're all pretty large. So what's included here? There's instructions. I am the instructions, so don't need to worry about those. And you see you got the whole setup right here. And with the actual mount kit is this diamond based ball. Go ahead and open the packet of hardware. A couple different things in there. There's these little plastic pegs, some smaller screws, and some smaller size nuts for those little fasteners. And then you're gonna find some a little bit longer ones that are specific for the mounting the X or the diamond base to the mount here. So we're gonna find these a little bit larger screws along with a captive nut. There's gonna be two sizes of the nuts. So just like the torque mount, you drop the captive nut into the base. We'll put the diamond just like that, and then that medium length screw usually works pretty good. And at this point, you're going to need the Phillips screwdriver, and if you don't have one, your scooter is going to certainly have one with it. Get one of them started, and then pretty much just repeat with the second screw here. There we go. So you have the pair of screws holding that in place. So we're getting pretty close here. At this point, I'd go ahead and put the mount on. You can either clamp it onto the ball or however you want to do it. Sometimes I like to have that adjustment facing down. Get it adjusted where I like the look of it, kind of as if I was looking at the phone when I'm using it. And the next step is you want to locate these little small pegs. And there's 3 different slots for the pegs. Depending on your phone or what you're planning on mounting, you just want to make sure you kind of mock it up by putting the phone in, and you just want to make sure it misses where the buttons are. So pretty much I can use any of them. I probably use these lower ones. It looks a little bit better if I just use the middle position and the lower position. So you put the pegs into those grooves, and the remaining screws are going to be short little screws, and there's also a captive nut that will go into these slots back here. So you can see there's a lot of adjustability with the slots, and typically I like to just get all the fasteners started and just leave them just loose, so there's still the adjustability of where you can move this side to side. You can see it pops out. And I'm only going to do 2 for right now. You could probably even get away with just 2, but for the ultimate in securing the phone, you probably want to do all 4. So put the other slot in, get that started. So knowing that these move in or out, we'll kind of start on them pulled all the way out. You'll pop the phone with the case of your choice, and there get it centered in the mount. And just go ahead and slide these in place. That seems to be good. It's going to hold the phone kind of on the horizontal axis. And just go ahead and tighten the screws. You can see the mounts, the little pins are almost flush with the edge. And that works pretty well with my phone setup. Obviously a larger phone, they'll be further out. And you could do the same for the upper or lower position. So there you go. Pop the phone in there, and I have a nice easy view. Maybe you want it closer to your face. So you could certainly bring it close to your face. You could put it out of the way up where the mirror is. But the nice thing about the RAM mount, yeah, it may be a clunkier setup. There's just a ton of adjustability of where you could put the mount with, you know, the ball. And there's a little bit of give in there with the pair of rubber balls. That kind of isolates some of the vibration and keeps it off the phone. Vespas don't really vibrate all that much, so not much of an issue, but it's good to keep the vibration, especially off the higher end modern flagship phones that have image stabilization in the camera. So if you have a little bit of give in rubber isolation, that's definitely something that's going to prolong the life of the cameras in your phone. You have access to the charge port under here, and I can easily access the buttons if needed. But probably the best case scenario is you set up navigation. You could quickly glance at the phone while you're riding, just like you look at your speedometer, and it's a good setup for that. And say you don't want it, you go in a gas station, or you're just not going to use navigation, all you have left behind is that ball. All right, well, thanks for watching. Showing you phone mounts that Robot recommends for 2024 from the name brands of RAM and SP Connect. Hope that helps you make a good decision. Keep in mind, a lot of these modern phones, flagship phones, you're talking about over $1,000 phone. You probably want to have the best mount you can get to keep your phone secure. I'll see you in the next one. Robot here from ScooterWest.com and Vespa Motorsport. So all the products I just showed today, you can find on the Scooter West web store. Nice and easy to search for. You can search for a RAM mount, quick grip, the part numbers I spoke about, or just SP Connect will give you the whole line of SP Connect products that we carry at ScooterWest.com and we currently have in stock. We'll see you on the next one.